Mandy, this is you. The Hunchback of Notre Dame. In Paris, France lived a mysterious bell ringer secluded in the Black Cathedral of Notre Dame. He ringed the bells of the church regularly, especially when they held Mass. Today is the Fest of Fools, and Quasi the Hunchback man wants to attend right outside the great cathedral with the other townsmen. So late at night when the festival is at its height, Quasi climbs down the cathedral, in which the Pope locks him at night at reason that his cruel face deformation may scare the town and even give his god a bad name, since that's his creation. Quasi's mother gave Quasi away to the Pope of that great cathedral and left him on the church's doorsteps one winter's day. And the old Pope, then young, answered, and uncertain of how he should take this place. So he hid him high, that no one would see this child's misshapen face that would drive the strongest of men away, and taught him how to read right clean and how to participate in routinely bell ringings every day, especially Sunday, the church's busiest of days. Quasi ignores his upbringing and is eager to attend this festive event, and hides his face with a mask, carved out of wood, that he kept. And he safely goes under and enjoys the show, and there he sees a famous old man, Judge Frollo, who has given his heart and soul to restore the city of Paris, which has grown strong and bold. He works at the city's courts and judges the city's vagrants that are charged with crimes, even if they lead others frozen. His wise judgment has made him popular with the poor, who have been beaten down in the courts in past times, in their world that is dark and cold. Quasi hears of him and lets out under his mask a deep grin. And the town continues celebrating during the fest as they ought to be. Quasi, watching a performance of music and singing, witnesses one woman with eyes very keen, and instantly desires of beauty. For no other women like this has he ever seen, especially from above where the townsmen look so small and puny. After her act, Esmeralda walks back to a tent set up for the beginning and end of her act. As she glances at her reflection in the mirror, Quasi enters, eager to have a word with her, for this may be the only night he will see this woman he would desire to be his wife. He touches her in the shoulder and she laughs. "You are the Hunchback bell ringer of Notre Dame, I am sure of that." Quasi kneels and takes off his mask and is nervous and says, "Esmeralda, how did you know that?" Esmeralda states, "Easy, I saw the pointiness of your back. And I know you have been locked up in the bell tower because that's how Pope Benedict acts." "It's okay, you're fine," she states. "I'm an acrobat and must stay in good shape. So the slightest of mistakes would give myself away in a performance, so if I were to see a mistake I would have to fix it, as is required of any gypsy these days." Quasi, nervous and desiring to walk away, says, "I'm so sorry, I have overcome my stay." Esmeralda says that is okay and gives him an embrace and asks him, "How much do you like your face?" Quasi says it's okay, but it's a bit out of place. Esmeralda says, "I feel the same way, it must be hard to live every day up in that dark, quiet place." Quasi says it is, "And I hope to see you stay with me where we may lay." Esmeralda hardens her face and says, "Okay, but have you met my pet cat? She has no fur and her name is Tiny," she says. "Hey." So Esmeralda and Quasi go, and the town continues to be entertained. And they jump on the back of the great Hunchback of Notre Dame, and Pope Benedict remains asleep at his quiet place, at the next story of the cathedral, where Quasi and Esmeralda climb and make their stay. So the night ends, and Quasi, Esmeralda, and Tiny awake. And quickly word goes out that a great war is on its way. And the townsmen gather arms because a foreign invader is on his way. And Pope Benedict walks in a trance to the Hunchback of Notre Dame of France, while Esmeralda holds Quasi's hand. And Tiny is in her other hand, and the Pope smiles and states, "Quasi, you're okay. I know you'll think I won't accept this of you, but the truth is a great war is on its way." So Quasi shakes his head and Esmeralda the same, and they set to pack and wish that they could stay. The town lowers its gates and they all begin to wait. And the King of France in Paris is labeled a snake, and requires that all mean must stay and face the kingdom of Hellos, a advanced and rebellious place. The men of the town mount at arms that they can acquire, pitchforks and knives, shovels, and briars, ropes, and goats, sheep, and toads. For Judge Frollo also has nowhere to go. But he keeps his composure and continues to defend his home. Quasi is strong, and no Paris won't withstand an attack by the kingdom of Hellos long. So he gathers his arms that he made from a broken bell by his bed, that he would do when all alone and when thinking of his dad and mom. And gave Esmeralda and Pope Benedict a weapon for each of them to hold until Hellos' assault went off. For the lives of men and women and children would be France's cost. Hellos began to do a siege to the great city of Paris, that they may surrender without hurting a beast. But the proud king of France desired no such thing, and ignored the cries of the townsfolk for months and weeks. And many of the townsmen died and grew weak. All that were left were the king's personal army, Judge Frollo, Quasi, Esmeralda, Captain Phoebes, and some vagrances on the streets. Pope Benedict was buried, and his old body couldn't withstand any more of such a thing. Severe drought destroyed the remnant, even Quasi, who remained strong throughout his whole weeks. His favorite time was during this as well, for he never truly had a friend. Captain Phoebes was in charge of burying the dead. And in Quasi's tombstone he wrote, and engraved above his head, "Here lies the heart of Paris, France, the Hunchback of Notre Dame." And all the king's soldiers and men began to vent. They knew their time was at hand. So they lowered their bridges, gathered on their horses, and began to ram at the kingdom of Hellas, whose ranks were filled with the strongest of men. The king of France was slain, and in the end only Captain Phoebes remained. And the men of Helios became enraged in the pursuit of a nation that a king threw in disgrace. And the king of Hellas sheathed his blade and embraced Captain Phoebes, and the origins of the kingdom of France cannot be found till this day. The end.